Alright, so this is some of my thoughts on the Ave Verum corpus I wrote for my sister's wedding. There's a very bland opening thought. Ave, Ave. Nothing really going on there. Much of this is actually based on Mozart's Ave Verum corpus. There are some very similar points in it. I always like to have a descending line from the tenors, so that's a Natum de Maria. Natum de Maria. It's always fun to have that line because it kind of while it's really boring as a tenor to sing it, it gives the basses something to do, and I usually don't have anything for them to do. But also, you could, if you were being really dramatic, you say it's like, you know, the true body born in the Virgin, born in a descending line. And the Virgine is just very simple. In Catholic theology, is very much focuses on the positive aspects of the Passion, but sometimes I like to think about the negative aspects. So, in the next part, Vere Passum Immolatum, which is talking about how Christ has truly suffered in the Passion. I hit a very strange chord here. We're in fifths. So if it was played closely, it's just 2 sets of seconds. And I've been thinking about that a lot this Lent with reading St. Peter Julian Emard about the Passion of Christ and about how we should have sympathy for the suffering Christ. We've moved out of home. Now we're in a very strange place harmonically. Immolatum. I like to end my phrasing, both in anticipation of the next, and also to make it easier to sing instead of making it very radically different. In Cruce, it's kind of like the meditation here is that we're kind of unhappy that Christ died. We've very much a very negative, very unhappy, why is Christ dying? So in Cruce, now we're seeing Christ being crucified. I believe that's what it means. Christ who's crucified for us. That will be sung quieter to emphasize a little more the reverence and awe that has. In Kyrios Latus, you have more of an imitation line than the tenor sing. When you get to Unda Fluxi. It's happier. It ends in an E major chord, but it's kind of more coming away from in the awe of the Christ having died for us. And again, I'm ending the phrasing in a easier to sing light than might other happen. The altos continue with Esto Nobis, immediately imitated by the sopranos. You have a line on Pro Nobis here. Immortis. So it's almost like we've gone through the Passion. We're very happy that the suffering of Christ has become a foretaste for our future life. And what I wanted to contrast here is now with the British composer wrote a piece of the same title on the O Dulcis. The point here is more reflection on what is given to us Maria. And here we invoke the names of Jesus and Mary. So that's why it's particularly unelaborate. The tenor line is one note till time. O Jesus Fili. And the next line, Maria. Very, very simple. Because the idea is that in light of the Vere Pasum, the Vere Pasum. Oh, that's wrong. We haven't entirely recovered. We don't actually have a response to the Vere Pasum. And that's where the final line after this line, which ends on a deceptive cadence. So even after we've called on Mary, we still don't know what the proper answer is to the suffering of Christ. And that's where we get to the theme of, so essentially the theme of Lent, but of Catholicism, which is the eternal miserere mei. It's kind of a lullaby. You can kind of just sing that over and over again. Miserere mei, bum, dun, 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 dun. And it's about much more of the church militant's response to being on earth and how we actually interact in the world, which is that we're here to make supplication on behalf of humanity. And that's why it's sung multiple times, 4 times to be exact. And the harmony is very tight. We have a lot of chords just written fully out and a lot of scrunched up notes. Because it's, in a sense, it's subdued, but it's also trying to be very expressive of the piety, the Christian piety we have in face of the scandal of the cross and how traumatic that experience is. Which is, again, a reason why the O Jesu Christi, the O Jesu Fili, if you listen to William Byrd's, the English composer's version of that, he almost screams out the name of Jesus at that point. It's as if, like, that's the whole point of the song. The whole point is just to get to, oh, Jesus, Son of Mary. But in my meditation is very different in contrast, and that's why you have this type of ending, where it's just 4 chords resung over and over and over again, until finally you hit a normal type of amen. So yeah, so this piece is essentially a Lenten meditation I had about the Passion of Christ from the human perspective of wondering why the heck he was going through it, since not everybody was going to actually care.